right, y'all. I realized that I cut my complement image short just a little bit, and so I wanted to finish it up here. So this is a picture that we drew in the last video. And remember, there are 3 different complement pathways. And I told y'all we were starting with the classical pathway because it is the most involved. And so the classical complement pathway starts right here when antibodies bind to the antigen. Okay, so notice the antibody response, which is made as our 3rd line of defense, okay, can trigger this innate process. Okay, now the second pathway, the second complement pathway, I should say, is called the lectin pathway. And this is the one that I mentioned where mannose sugars on the pathogen are going to bind to lectin molecules in the host cell, okay? And that is going to trigger C2 and C4 and lead to them being cleaved and the rest of this pathway occurring. The other pathway that could potentially be triggered is called the alternative pathway, alternative complement pathway. And that is just going to be normally where the immune response detects parts of the pathogen's cell wall. Okay, and when parts of the cell wall are what's detected, it kind of shortcuts this process and activates C3. Okay, so each pathway has a different starting point and a different activator or trigger. But at the end of the day, no matter which pathway gets triggered, you're going to have the same outcomes: the inflammation, the opsonization, and the formation of a MAC complex. Now, I want you to think about something for a second. Which of these complement proteins do you think is most critical? If there were to be a mutation at the DNA level that impacted, up the complement proteins, which one would be most critical? Well, that would be C3, right? Because if C1 doesn't exist, well, at least we still have 2 complement pathways that could, be used. Without C2 or C4, right, we could still have the alternative pathway. But if C3 didn't exist for whatever reason, then the rest couldn't happen, right? Inflammation wouldn't occur, or at least double or 2 of the inflammation activators wouldn't exist. The MAC complex wouldn't form, okay? So in terms of the starting molecules for these pathways, C3 is going to be most critical. All right, y'all, just wanted to finish this conversation because I jumped the gun on the last video, and I apologize for that.